let's jump into the game. Today we are gonna be playing the Guardian. The Guardian is a construct of the Spire programmed to defend it, able to defend itself from harm on command. We start with Mode Shifter as our relic, which causes us to go into defensive mode when we lose 10 HP. And we gain 10 block, which will also not be removed at the start of our next turn. So if the enemy hits us for 10 or more HP, we'll gain a benefit for the next turn. Which is pretty nice. That means if we're unable to defend us, we do get some defense for the next turn at least. I do like it. Should definitely help with early elite combats at the very least. So, let's take a look at the map. We are playing on Ascension 0, so the elites aren't as common yet. Here's the Emerald Elite, which I would like to kill pretty early. Although we don't get a chance to break the Emerald afterwards, because we would need a rest type for that. There's also a shop on that path, but we don't have a lot of optionality. The path is very linear until this point, when it mostly becomes about fights or question marks. I do like having some options, but just looking at all this... Looks like we have to choose between fires or elites here, because these are all mutually exclusive. Same goes for these two. That's not actually these three. That's not an amazing map. I think I'm gonna go for this very early elite and then try to go to the left here so I can get these two rest sites for some upgrades, or maybe get and break the ruby key. So we are fighting a very early elite, so maybe 3 random potions is what we want. I don't think we want to obtain a curse for a rare card, although the rare card would be nice. I don't think I want to go into my first elite card, elite combat with a curse and what is pretty much my base deck. So let's go with potions here. Ooh, 2 power potion and a dex potion. That seems pretty good, honestly. I could get the ruby key here, but I can't break it right away, so I think we wanna upgrade. Let's also look at our base deck for a moment. We have standard strikes, which upgrade to 9 damage as usual, standard defense, also usual upgrade. We have curl up, enter defensive mode. So, defensive mode gives us 3 thorns, and whenever we play a card we gain 2 block. And we exit it at the start of our next turn. So curl up here gives us 3 thorns for a turn, and every card we play after curl up in the same turn gives us 2 block, which is nice. Will usually amount to 6 block at the start. Not bad. And then there's Twin Slam, deal 4 damage 2 times, and it has a socket. So one of the mechanics of this class is that you can get gems as cards, and then you can combine the gems effect with these socket cards. And that's a pretty neat mechanic. The gems have pretty minor effects, are 0 cost cards, although there are certainly a few that are quite useful nonetheless. Upgrading curl up doesn't make much sense right now because we don't have a gem yet. Twin Slam, some of its extra power does come from the socket, but it also gains the damage upgrades. And I think this card looks generally pretty solid and will probably stay with me throughout the run, so I think it's a good upgrade. Lagavulin. Well, we don't have a lot of setup cards. I'm probably gonna use a power potion here. Construction form. Prevent the next 3 times you would lose HP. During the next 2 turns you cannot play attack. I assume this includes the current turn. Gain 4 block at the end of each turn while in defensive mode. Enter defensive mode. Or at the start of your turn add an Orb Slam to your hand. Orb Slam deals 2 damage 2 times. Honestly, construction form sounds like it would be incredible against the Lagavulin. Will not be able to play attacks next 2 turns. I can still play attacks this turn. So yes, it's gonna be this and the next turn. Yeah, we get Entangled applied. So let's just wait this out. Because we have to wait. Ah yeah, I'm entangled, I can play attacks. That makes perfect sense. So we didn't get to wake up the Lagavulin, but we are protected against 3 hits from this elite who does who does single target large attacks, which is pretty much ideal for us. We don't have to care about defense at all. At least not for a while. Should play curl up. Could I have fully defended here? No, I could have had 16 block. That wouldn't be enough to save my last buffer charge. We are still in a bit of trouble. Our strikes are only dealing 4 now. 5 now. Soon we'll only be dealing 4. We should be able to finish this just barely. I really wish I had another attack here. Looks like we have to hold out for 1 more turn. Ouch. But well, we managed to beat the Lagavulin with pretty much only our base deck, so that's a good thing. Preserved Insect, very nice to find this so early. Enemies in elite combats have 25% less HP. Charge up. Place this card into Stasis. Stasis are these orb slots above our head. A card in Stasis gains a turn counter equal to its cost plus 1. The turn counter, so this will be a turn counter of 1. The turn counter is reduced by 1 at the start of your turn. When the counter reaches 0, it is returned to your hand and costs 0 until played. So we place this into Stasis. The next turn the turn counter would reduce. It would return to our hand and cost 0 until played. Except this also has Volatile here at the end. When this card leaves Stasis, exhaust it instead of returning it to your hand. Now what does this card actually do? It does tick, gain 12 block and 1 strength. And tick is, this effect is triggered whenever this card's turn counter is reduced while in Stasis. So basically this is a complicated way of saying gain 12 block and 1 strength your next turn. The upgrade increases its costs. So while it then costs 1 to put into Stasis, it will also stay there for 2 turns, which is interesting. Recover. Gain 5 block, place a card from your discard pile into Stasis. So basically pretty similar to Hologram from the Defect, except that you get the card a bit later, but it will then cost 0. And there's Aquamarine. Gem, add a Crystal Ward to your hand. Crystal Ward is gain 3 block, exhaust. Which is mostly just a trigger for the defensive mode and your decks, but still 3 block is better than nothing. I do like the Aquamarine as a gem, but it will be a while until we can socket it. 2 fights, 2 question marks. That's not that far off. I also kind of like the idea of Recover, placing a card from our discard pile into Stasis, because there are certain cards that do have additional effects in Stasis. I want to try out Recover. Let's Twin Slam, then recover the Twin Slam, so we get it back in 2 turns. Not the best turn for Curl Up to show up. The enemy is not attacking. There we go. Planning. Place the top 2 cards of your draw pile into Stasis. And has a socket. Upgrades to have another socket. Emergency. Accelerate until a card in Stasis returns to your hand. Exhaust. Accelerate means reduce the turn counter of the rightmost card in Stasis by 1. If the card's turn counter is now 0, return it to your hand. It costs 0 until played. So basically you can, well, accelerate the Stasis. Doesn't seem that useful to me unless you have a card with really high Stasis count. But who knows. Temporal Strike. Deal 5 damage, gain energy if you have a card in Stasis. Goes up to 6 damage and gets a socket. Emergency is 0 cost on upgrade. Temporal Strike does seem a bit unimpactful, I would say. It's like a 0 cost attack, but it has a condition. Although the upgrade adds a socket that makes it a bit more useful. Planning is basically delayed card draw. You draw 2 cards the next turn, but you can also socket a gem into it. No, actually, that's not how it works at all. It places the cards into Stasis, so they will take a while to get out of there. But they will be 0 cost. I'm gonna try out planning. Not quite enough. Let's start with the planning. Strike and Curl Up. So we'll have Curl Up available next turn. Yeah, let's remove this guy. Let's put Twin Slam into Stasis as well. Taking 2 damage this turn, but that should be all the damage we take. Yes, we do have lethal here. Nice. Explosive Potion. Ruby. Gain 1 momentary strength. Momentary means the buff effect will also add a debuff, which causes you to lose the buff effect at the end of your turn. We have Wend's Theme applied to vulnerable with 2 sockets. Goes up to 3. And Crystal Beam. Deals 10 damage. Damage is increased by 1 for each gem in all of your socketed cards. I mean, Wend's Theme is okay. A source of vulnerable. Ruby. I don't see being that great of a gem for us, but might still be good. I think I'm gonna go with the Wend's Theme, so we have a source of applying vulnerable to enemies. You walk into a room to find a large hole in the ground. As you approach the hole, an enormous serpent creature appears from within. Hoo-hoo! Hello, hello, what have we got here? To you, my overlord, I ask a simple question. The most fulfilling of lives is that in which you can punch anything. Do you agree? Agree? Punch. Gain 175 souls. Become cursed. Doubt. We could remove the curse at the merchant here. That's actually a good amount of souls. I'm gonna take it. A strange blue humanoid with a glimmering helm approaches you with a huge smile. Upon realizing just what you are, the creature's beaming grin swiftly turns to a look of pure terror. Monster! The figure shouts, turning around to flee. We could punch him for 100 souls or intimidate to remove a card from our deck. Let's intimidate them. I want this doubt gone. Well, glad we took the previous event. That was pretty much worth it. Cleric help! Cleric help! The creature says as you approach menacingly. A cold blue flame envelops your body and dissipates. Immediately after, this cleric fleas. Toxic Egg. Whenever you add a skill into your deck, upgrade it. That's amazing to find on the first act. That will give us a lot of upgraded skills. I'm gonna obtain the ruby key here so I can break it in the next campfire spot to gain some strength. Apply vulnerable and put it in stasis. Why not? Curl up. We got the twin slam and a strike. And now that the vulnerable has run its course, we can apply it again. We can fully block this turn, but I'm gonna defend at least. Let's put another card in stasis. Error stasis in progress. So if you already have your stasis slots filled, future tries to put cards in stasis will just not do anything. Spiked energy drink. Muddle the 2 highest cost cards in your hand. Muddle means randomly changing its cost to between 0 and 3. We don't have any high cost cards in the deck, so this seems like a pretty poor potion choice for us. Polybeam. Deal 2 damage to a random enemy 4 times. We're about to gain 1 strength, so it's gonna be 3 damage 4 times. That's not bad. Basically an 11 damage attack compared to something else. Reroute. Deal 9 damage, place the next non-exhausting attack or skill you play this turn into stasis. Now we need to be careful to not take too many cards that fill our stasis slots, otherwise we can't really benefit from all of them. Maybe 1 reroute would be okay, but not that critical. Spike Protocol. Gain 3 thorns while in defensive mode. Enter defensive mode. Doesn't seem that important. We're currently... it's not looking like we're gonna focus too much around defensive mode. I could pick up a Polybeam just to increase the damage output of my deck, because currently we are a little weak in that regard. Although Reroute would be slightly weaker but not much, and would help us with stasis stuff. So let's go with Reroute here. We break the Ruby Key, spend 75 souls, and gain the Ruby Heart Blessing, which lets us start each combat with 1 strength, and against the boss of Act 3, we gain a special card that helps us against them. Reroute becomes 12 damage, Planning gets another socket, when Steam applies 3 vulnerable. This goes up to 8 block. I think I want to mostly increase the damage we can deal, so let's go with Reroute here. And then let's fight the Merchant. Because, as you might remember, in Downfall when we are playing as the bosses, the Merchant is actually our opponent. Curl up. Let's do Planning, Strike. Let's recover. We don't need another curl up because this is the only time this enemy will attack. I think we just get a strike into stasis. The thorns will deal a significant amount of damage here, which is nice. Apply vulnerable and then reroute. We already have our stasis slot full, so it doesn't matter what we play after it. And then 1 last turn of combat before the enemy escapes. Let's just throw out all the damage we can. 90 damage for our first combat. That's okay, I guess. So, what are our options here? Sentry Beam. Deal 5 damage, place a Sentry Wave into stasis. Exhaust. Sentry Wave, apply 1 weak, draw a card, place a Sentry Beam into stasis. Exhaust. So this will switch between dealing some damage and applying some weak, which is nice, but they will take up a stasis slot every single turn, which is annoying. Charge Call. Deal 10 damage, then place this card into stasis. Tick, draw a card. Volatile. So, after we play it, we draw a card for the next 2 turns. And then when this leaves stasis, it gets exhausted. That's not bad. If we put it into stasis another way, we still get the card draw, so that's somewhat useful. Pre-program. Look at the top 6 cards of your draw pile. You may choose one to place into stasis. I think we currently have too many cards that put things into stasis to pick this. Ruby, Gem, gain 1 momentary strength. And then there's Repulsor, a power that exhausts the first status or curse drawn each turn. I think this is not that necessary. I also like the blind. The Repulsor is not that necessary because we are fighting bosses that don't put statuses or curses into our deck. So it's not gonna be important, at least against the bosses. Blind, apply 2 weak to all enemies. That's pretty good. I really like an upgraded blind, especially if I can't really easily apply weak myself. Master Strategy, draw 4 cards, exhaust. Good, but not worth that much money to me. Ancient Tea Set, whenever you enter a rest site, start the next combat with 2 energy. That's not bad, but it doesn't work. Well, in normal Slayer Spire you always have a rest fight against right before the boss. That's not the case in Downfall, so this won't be as good because you don't get the benefit on the boss fight. Orange Pellets. Whenever you play a power, attack and skill in the same turn, remove all your debuffs. This is quite strong in this class, I think. Because there are a lot of things that apply momentary effects to us, like Ruby, we can clear the debuff it applies with the orange pellets. So that's certainly interesting. I'm interested in the charge core and the orange pellets, and we could certainly buy both. But we couldn't also afford a card removal on top of that. Let's do it. That's okay. We don't need to card remove necessarily. Now we also want to find some cards that give us momentary boosts as well as some powers to actually trigger that. I think I want to focus on the Fungi Beast, because this one's gonna buff their attack over time. Let's charge core and strike to get the kill here. And we can't recover anything because our stasis slots are currently full. Reroute, Twin Slam, strike. Very nice. Another spiked energy drink we don't want. Stasis Strike. Deal 7 damage, place this card into stasis. So we get it back every 2 turns because it costs 1. Gains a socket as well. That is nice, but it does seem a bit unexciting, to be honest. The damage also doesn't go up on upgrade. But you get to activate the gem you socket into it over and over again. I really don't feel like this is that powerful. It does become 0 cost after we get it back the first time, so it's not bad, but we use our stasis slots for other stuff. Suspension, draw a card, place a card into your hand into stasis. Socket. Maybe. And Crystal Beam again. I feel like these, while these do things that are similar to what we want to do, we already have other stuff. Like, Yes, suspension, stasis strike, they would fit into a stasis utilizing build, but currently we have too much to things that put cards into stasis and not enough that benefit from it. So I'm gonna say skip. Let's go for some question marks. Find yourself in a room filled with racks of test tubes, beakers, flasks, forceps, pinch clamps, stirring rods, tongs, goggles, funnels, pipettes, cylinders, condensers, and even a rare spiral tube of glass. Why do you know the name of all these tools? It doesn't matter, you take a look around. Let's find some potions. Blessing of the Forge, upgrade all cards in your hand for the rest of the combat. Duplication potion is pretty good. Might or might not be the out explosive potion. I think power potion and dex potion are quite solid. Yeah, I think the duplication potion is tempting. But it's currently not that powerful because we don't have crazy powerful cards yet. And with infused drink, add 4 random 0 cost to your hand. I think we skip these 2 potions. I think I'm pretty happy with what we currently have. Maybe I should have used more potions earlier to prevent some damage. Let's vent steam, charge core and defend here. Curl up, twin slam, defend, recover. Place the twin slam in stasis and then fill the remaining stasis slot with a card from our deck. Curl up 3. Oh, that's already lethal. Ruby. Gain a momentary strength. Now that we have the orange pellets, that is something we're interested in. Clone. Choose a card, place a copy of the card into stasis, exhaust. That does sound quite powerful, especially with certain powers. Orb Beam. Innate. Place a random card from your draw pile into stasis, deal 5 damage, gain 5 block, exhaust. That's a good way to always start with something in stasis. Also helps a little bit with defending. It's 0 cost. It's pretty efficient. I think we want to start getting some gems. And Ruby seems like it will work well with the orange pellets at the very least. Can't socket them this floor, but we'll be able to soon. Defend, and I think I prefer striking over the vent steam here, so I can get rid of the enemy's curl up. I can only kill one of those. I think this is a good time to make use of some potions to prevent damage. And we get it back immediately, nice. Roll attack, deal 14 damage. If in defensive mode, affects all enemies. Socket. Upgrades to deal 18 damage. Nice AoE, but we are not consistently enough in defensive mode to really use it as AoE. And a single target, it's not that exciting. Aquamarine again and Incinerate. Deal 9 damage, accelerate. Yeah, that seems good. That seems really good. The accelerate in this deck, quite useful potentially. So we're up against the defect. We're facing 3 damage this turn from the lightning orb. The defect also has Abacus and oddly smooth stone. Transform the card. We are taking 9 this turn. I do want to vent steam. Next turn, the charge core will exhaust. I could Twin Slam for some damage, or instead apply some vulnerable for damage next turn. Next turn, he's gonna have a lot of block. Maybe let's do the damage now. We might not be able to get through all the block the defect has this turn. Although it looks like we could be doing that. We don't have a whole lot of defense here. And I could reroute the Incinerate. That would be pretty good, I think. I think I want to play the Incinerate as often as possible. Good thing we get this defend back, so we can actually prevent some damage this turn. Apparently the vulnerable would have been the correct choice last turn. Let's play Ruby. What do we want to recover? Reroute maybe? That does seem kind of useful. 20 damage incoming. We can full defend if we want to. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, we'll have 3 energy next turn. Let's get the reroute back. Oh, I should have played the Ruby first. Then we reroute the recover. Oh, there's a lot of incoming damage. Let's do this first. Then we reroute the recover. Too bad Stasis is already in progress. I should have played the recover first. I think the accelerate would have been much better than these cards. I really should have used a potion here. Who knows, maybe we can find a construction form. Our protocol does help somewhat. Time capacitor, gain 2 stasis slots. That seems quite useful here. Oh, we also purged the debuff so we don't lose a strength this turn. But we are getting quite low. And he's gonna play the streamline again. Let's see if we can even survive this. That's enough to survive at the very least. Maybe I should also have used the Dex potion. I'm not yet very good at managing these potions, so definitely play the Ruby. We need something in Stasis. Not the Ruby. That's planning. How much defense do we even have? 15? Incoming 26. That would... yeah, that would kill us. Let's incinerate, then recover the incinerate. Defend, defend. I should have played the Wentz team first, obviously. I'm still struggling a bit with this character. With the stasis stuff and... what? We're only gonna get better from here on out, right? Let's enter defensive mode. That's pretty much the only way we are gonna survive this turn, if at all. I think we reroute a Twin Slam. $18. We are gonna die to the lightning orbs. Unless we kill them first with spikes, but that's 3 damage short. Ooh. Died against the defect. This guy was putting out some crazy consistent damage. He was dealing like more than 20 damage each turn. That's pretty tough. Well, we unlock the next character, but for now let's stay on the Guardian. Let's try this again. Okay, random rare card, 100 souls, choose a rare card or boss swap. We have the chance to fight an elite right at the start again. This time we have choosier paths with fire elite, and then we can choose when we are healthy we can fight another elite, otherwise we can take a fire. Or we could just go to the right and just have a lot of fires and an elite. And later on a merchant as well. Looks like a good path, but I think I'm gonna go for the first elite. Actually, let's take the random rare card without the downside. Yeah, this is not gonna be helpful until we socket it. Well, we can socket it right at the start if we want to. Citrine, gem, gain 1 energy. Nice. That's a powerful effect. But this first elite fight without any potions, without any like good additional cards in our deck. No, I don't think we can do that. Let's start here instead. I feel like I should hold on to this Citrine instead of socketing it immediately into the Twin Slam. Let's recall here. Then we can get our +1 strength before we fight any elites. Which certainly sounds nice to me. Let's just fully defend. There's no rush here. Now we have the curl up, which helps. And we can kill the front target, so we don't take damage at all. Okay. Roll attack. Walker Claw. Deal 14 damage. Strength affects this card 2 times. And incinerate again. Whew. Walker Claw is basically the same thing as hitting for 7 twice. So it's that's pretty unexciting. 16 damage, basically 8 damage twice on upgrade for 2 energy. That doesn't sound too strong to me. I think I prefer roll attack over Walker Claw. And I think I honestly like Incinerate the most out of these. We currently don't have a way to utilize Stasis, but as we have seen last run, there are a lot of good Stasis cards that put your cards in Stasis, so that should be easier to find. Yeah, Walker Claw just seems like a bad multi-hit attack. There's not really a huge benefit to it. Like, it's basically just playing 2 strikes or something like that. Well, no way around it. We are gonna take some damage. Roll up, Incinerate, Twin Slam, Strike, and we should have the kill here. Duplication Potion. Ancient Attack. Gain 1 strength. Add a random attack card to your hand. It costs 1 less. Only real upside is it's only 1 instance of spike damage when you hit the spiked enemy. Talking about Walker Claw. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's 1 upside at the very least. At least something. Upgrades to also grant us an artifact. Fragmented Gem. Gems don't have upgrades, right? Add a crystal sheath to your hand. Deals 4 damage. That seems okay. Slightly better than the ruby, I think. Spiker Protocol. Gain 3 thorns while in defensive mode. Enter defensive mode. Nothing that works with Incinerate well, but the Fragmented Gem, maybe with the Citrine. Maybe we can build some something useful with gems. But we don't currently have anything good to socket them into. I am fine with the Twin Slam generating a Crystal Shift. Makes it basically a 3-hit attack. Speed Potion. Prismatic Barrier. Gain 4 block for each gem in this card. Becomes 3 socket on upgrade. That's 12 block for 1 energy as long as we do have the gem slots filled. We can already fill the 2 sockets with what we currently have. There's also Priming Beam. Deal 8 damage, increase the damage dealt by beam cards by 1 this combat. We do not currently have beam cards. I don't think we are we have too much of a reason to pick them up over something else. Let's go with Prismatic Barrier. And I want to go this way. Nine, 15, 21 damage. Uh-oh. Maybe it's time to duplicate and incinerate. Could we kill the backliner with that? That's 18. Yes, we can. Prevents a good chunk of damage to us. Prismatic Barrier does nothing at the moment. Oh, we have the kill. I thought we were 1 damage short for some reason. Momentary Dex from the Emerald, Crystal Ward from the Aquamarine, and there's Suspension. I do want something like a Suspension, but currently I think we should focus on gems a bit more instead. I do like the Aquamarine, because there's another block on top of what the Prismatic Barrier already provides. So it would work well with Dex. But having the Dex in the Prismatic Barrier I think is not ideal, because you get the Dex after you gain the block, I assume. Because it's 4, 4, 4 and not 12. Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, the Emerald would be interesting. But we would need to socket that into the Twin Slam instead. Well, I mean, nothing stops us from doing so. And also, I think the Aquamarine is generally a bit better. No, let's go with the Emerald. Gems are always last. That makes sense, yes. So, let's socket at least the Emerald into the Twin Slam. The socketing of gems doesn't take an action, so you can do it multiple times and still upgrade cards. I'm not sure if I should hold out on the Citrine until I find a better card to use it with, because I know there's a few cards that allow you to use gems over and over again. For example, the Stasis Strike would be a good one. We definitely want to break the Ruby, and I think upgrade the Twin Slam, the Incinerate. Oh, the Incinerate also gains a socket. I didn't know that. We're gonna need a whole lot of gems to fill all the sockets in our deck. Could also upgrade the Prismatic Barrier. No, that's not a good timing for that. I think I'm gonna go with the Twin Slam for now. That just seems like a generally pretty useful card. Shuriken, every time you play 3 attacks in a single turn, gain 1 strength. Now we really want these fragmented gems that give us crystal shifts. Curl up is always a priority upgrade, IMO. Okay. Is it? Because it's 0 cost and has a gem slot, a socket. I feel like right now I'd rather have upgrades that affect my power against the upcoming elite. Maybe upgrade curl up then in the next slot. And as long as I can't fill, getting a gem slot is for better defense on curl up turns is really nice. Okay, I would assume that curl up turns are the ones that usually have... Oh, it's an easy stasis target as well. Yeah, that makes sense. I think I'm gonna go for Incinerate, so I have slightly higher damage on the next elite fight, and then maybe upgrade curl up afterwards. We can play 3 attacks here. In fact, it's probably what we want to do. Wrong order. I should have gained the dex first. We have curl up this turn, that's nice. We can kill the backliner and fully protect against the frontliner, that's very good. Twin Slam for the momentary dex. And then double defend. Well, we didn't need the momentary dex, but was more Twin Slam for the damage. Shuriken is doing very well right now. Already got us 3 strength this fight. And we should have the kill in the next 2 turns. Or even right now. Blue Candle. Unplayable curse cards can now be played. Whenever you play a curse, lose 1 HP and exhaust it. Blessing of the Forge upgrades all cards in our hand. Okay. Refractor Beam. Deal 4 damage 4 times. Can be upgraded any number of times. Exhaust. Oh, it upgrades the amount of times it strikes. Well, 4 damage 4 times with Shuriken can already be a decent amount of damage. Would I spend any upgrades on it though? It does exhaust, so I think we want to get a recover so we can actually start using some stasis. When Steam sounds okay, but we need a lot of gems already to fill our slots, so maybe later. Let's go with recover here. Let's upgrade the curl up now. When Steam is also good. Yeah, it does seem quite good. I do agree with that. Maybe we want to take more fights so we have more chances to find gems. To fill our slots with. Let's attack the backliner because they are buffing their strength. And we gain a strength from Shuriken. Very nice. We kill the backliner, the front that applies vulnerable to us, so the frontliner will hit us for 9. That means we start with recover on curl up, then incinerate the backliner to get back the curl up, play defend. Get the crystal sheath and get the kill. Another fragmented gem. That just seems insanely good with Shuriken. It helps trigger it and it also helps activate it. Let's enter a corridor full of hypnotizing colored mushrooms. Due to your lack of specialization in mycology, you're unable to identify the specimens. You want to escape, but you feel oddly compelled to eat the mushroom. We could heal 20, but we would get a parasite from it. Which we can play with the blue candle, but still. Let's angle the mushrooms. Ambushed! Rodents infested by the mushrooms appear out of nowhere. Let's start out with that's fine. Let's start with the weakest one. Put this into stasis. Let's get the prismatic barrier back. 12 damage plus another 5. That's 17. We need some defense. We gain 1 dex. This is 6. This is 5. 11 block. We take 2. Could also fully defend without playing the twin strike. But I kinda wanna end this fight sooner rather than later. Yeah, these are red corpses infested by mushrooms, which is pretty scary when you realize it. They also have split tails for whatever reason. 19, 24. A little bit short on getting... No, actually, we might not be. This is 5, 12, and this is 14, is 26. Yes. This is actually a kill on the backline. Now, because we trigger Shuriken. There we go. No damage taken. Well, taking 3 damage this turn. Not much we could have done here. I guess the Blessing of the Forge. But that's not worth for just 3 damage. And we gain the Odd Mushroom. When vulnerable, take 25% more attack damage rather than 50%. That's nice. Floating Orbs. At the start of your turn, add an Orb Slam to your hand. It's a 0 cost attack that hits twice. That's crazy with the Shuriken. Yes. And let's fight a merchant. Ooh, good opening hand. Yeah, we want to play Twin Slam last. Yeah, Floating Orb seems like quite a good card. Especially with Shuriken. Let's recover the Twin Slam. Curl up just because we can. Bring back Twin Slam. Play Prismatic and then Orb Slam after we gain the strength. Oh, I only just noticed we have the floating orbs of the large ball creatures, which I forgot the name of. I mean, the card is literally called Floating Orb, so that shouldn't come as a surprise. And we also do the same attack animation they do. Let's see what's in the shop for us. Ooh, Sling of Courage. Start each elite combat with 2 strength. What does this even upgrade to? Oh, it becomes innate. I am very much interested in picking up another Floating Orbs. We also have Shield Charger that we haven't seen before. Place this card into Stasis, tick, gain 8 block and 1 energy. Volatile. Okay. 8 block for 3 turns. An energy each turn. Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna pick up the second floating orb. I'm just wondering if I want something else to go with it. Yeah, with the shuriken. And these also really benefit a lot from extra strength. It's definitely this. Temporal strike. We don't have enough stasis stuff yet. Charge core could help a bit. I would like some more cards that benefit from Incinerate, especially. But it doesn't have to be right now. This fight. Let's curl up, that's always happening. I think Prismatic Barrier is also good, because it's an additional card to play. And helps us deal some damage. Can we kill... Not really. No, we can. We can, if we want to. It costs us the Blessing of the Forge. Can we just defend completely? 4, 8, 17. This is 13, 15, 17. Okay. Good thing we have these spikes, so we can also apply some damage while defending. How can we recover here? Curl up. Let's just recover curl up. And we incinerate. We incinerate you. Curl up, crystal sheath. One more skill. And then we orb slam the backliner. Yeah, pretty easy here. Oops. And finally this fat gremlin. There we go. I will take another fragmented gem. What's multi-beam? Deal 5 damage to all enemies X times. Tick, increase the damage dealt by beam cards by 1 this combat. How does X cost plus Stasis work? Does it just take your current energy plus 1? Like when you randomly play X cost cards? From things like Mayhem or Havoc? I think that's how they work then. Never got a good beam run yet. Yeah, it seems like there are not too many support cards for that. Anyway, this is a fragmented gem, I think. We have a lot of fragmented gems now that we still need to socket, so I hope we don't die on the first boss again. That would be a waste. Definitely blaze citrine. We only have 5 block. Can we kill 2 targets? We can kill 2 targets. We should just kill the backliner then. Bring back the incinerate for later use. Take 1 here, that's fine. Yeah, we might have to use a pot or 2. I think I will definitely use the Blessing of the Forge. It's best in long combats after all. When you draw into those cards multiple times. Sentry Beam seems nice as a way to apply some weakness. Shield spikes. Gain 12 block, gain 4 momentary thorns if you are in defensive mode. We are still not that often in defensive mode. 12 block for 2 is... It seems okay, but not great, even if you are in defensive mode. Unless you have a way to keep the momentary thorns, I guess. That would make it quite a bit better. I like Sentry Beam here. We just draw it once and it just keeps giving. Watcher with retain stuff. Watcher has Cloak Clasp, gains some block from having cards in the hand. Bag of Prep, so they drew an extra card and gain an extra energy this turn. Ice Cream, so they keep energy, and they have an upgraded card from the event, maybe this Perseverance. Yeah, with Artifact you can keep the spikes. It probably makes sense in an Artifact deck that has a good amount of defensive mode activators. We'll not attack this turn. The Blessing of the Forge is pretty weak here. Fragmented Gem can't be upgraded, Floating Orbs only becomes innate. I don't want to use it yet. Let's just go with the obvious stuff. Yeah, I assumed that Momentary Thorns would work the same way there. Obslam can probably be upgraded. Recover is definitely a nice card to upgrade. I think this is a good turn for... You know what? Let's use a skill potion first. I think it's a good time to use one. Stasis Field, gain 6 block, place this card in Stasis. Ancient Power, gain 1 dex. Having a dex in this fight seems good. And then let's upgrade it all. Oh, this also gives us an artifact. So if we're really desperate, we could also use the speed potion now to gain 5 more dex, but that's a bit overkill, I think. We will absolutely die to Giant Head when using spikes. I can very much see that, yes. Gain 2 dex while in defensive mode. Enter defensive mode. Seems good for this turn. Orb Slam is now deal 3 by base 2 times. That's what I thought it would upgrade to. Flying Sleeves. Oh, they have Sands of Time and Windmill Strike in hand. There's a huge damage coming up. Also, the eye on the staff is on a higher level than the card preview, but the rest of her model isn't. I think we wanna recover Curl Up, honestly. And then just play all the attacks. Yeah, we are in defensive mode. I think that is okay. Incoming 14, yeah, this is no problem. We are gaining strength, so this at least is good. Oh, they're still holding the Windmill Strike and the Sands of Time. Yeah, I guess they don't have... Well, we have weak next turn. We should curl up for the spikes at the very least. Sentry Beam also helps with our Shuriken. I want a weakness next turn, I think. So Incinerate is... actually has a downside here. Kind of don't want to accelerate. There's not much else to do with the energy, and it is good damage. Okay. Doesn't feel that great, but if in the worst case we still have this B potion. They're still blocking. So this is perfect. We have the weakness on the next turn. Well, they are probably gonna start playing these buffed up Retain cards. Another floating orbs is great. We are dealing decent damage just with these floating orbs alone. High establishment. Okay, next turn this will be 0 cost. They will definitely play it then. So if we accelerate the sentry beam now, we will have it next turn for the weaken. If they are still alive by then, which they probably won't be, because we have orb slams. Well, they looked very scary the entire time until they suddenly died before they could actually do what they were planning to do the whole time. Ancient Construct. At the start of your turn, if you have no artifact, gain 1 artifact and lose an energy. Losing an energy is rough, but gaining an artifact can be nice. Although we don't have too many momentary stuffs or debuffs on ourselves, so probably not. Revenge Protocol. When you leave defensive mode, gain 3 momentary strength, enter defensive mode. Now this provides a lot of momentary strength at the same time. That would work well with Ancient Construct, but we can't take them both. And there's Bauble Beam. Deal 10 damage, perform the following 2 times. Socket, socket. 3 times on upgrade. I think this is pretty much what our deck wants to do. I think this is where our Citrine goes as well. What is this? Guardian Gear. Replaces Mode Shifter. Begin each combat in defensive mode which persists for 5 turns. That is nice, but probably not worth taking over a boss relic here. I don't think we want Sozu because you can no longer obtain potions is a very rough drawback. I think we take Philosopher's Stone. All enemies start combat with 1 strength. Guardian Gear is an insta-pick when I see it. Really? I guess it's good. It's especially good with floating orbs and fragmented gems. Just being in defensive mode the whole time. It's basically all 3 boat relics and then some. Yeah, you convinced me. This is actually much more powerful, I think, than it first appears to be. It's also basically bronze spikes or bronze scales as well. Yeah. Well, in short fights at least. Seems quite good actually. I like this path. 2 merchants. 1 early, 1 late. A few rest sites and 2 elites, including the buffed one. Sure. It's time to finally slot the Citrine. What else do we want in there? Crystal shifts? I mean, yes. Very much yes. We also want a crystal shift in Prismatic Barrier, that's for sure. Are there any super OP gems I should be holding the slot on Bauble Beam for? Because Crystal Shift just seems like one of the best thing we could get with Shuriken. I think there's a draw a card as well. Yeah, this is just great. Do want to upgrade Prismatic Barrier pretty soon so we can actually socket another gem in there, but we do not currently have any more gems and we still have other slots to fill, if I'm right. Yeah, Curl Up and Twin Slam as well. So we upgrade Bauble Beam so we gain 3 energy and a crystal and 3 crystal shift from that. Strength, energy and draw. Yeah, that makes sense. That would be ideal, I guess. Let's nuke some birds. Can just play our whole hand here. How crazy is that? Yeah, we are fully defended. We can let these birds hit themselves against our spikes, right? Strength down. Oh, that's also a gem. That sounds pretty nice as well. Assume it's -1 strength for all enemies, or... Yeah, it must be for all, right? Not like we need that, but... I guess Guardian Gear just single-handedly wins you the bird fight. That's nice as well. Oh, it's -2 strength. Okay. That seems pretty good. Reroute. We are using our one stasis slot with Sentry Beam. And that will always be there for our Incinerate as a target, but rerouting a Bauble Beam could be nice. I'll take it. As you continue down the spire, you notice a group of humanoids waiting in ambush nearby a large auditorium. When approached, the slavers are startled but quickly explain themselves. We await these who would assault our city, the ones you seek to destroy. We have an audience awaiting a fresh capture. The people love a fight to the death. The slavers are no threat to you, and may prove useful if they do manage to slow down or injure your prey. However, this blood sport might just be too tempting to pass up. We could fight arena champions and gain many rewards, or we could fight a captive hero and gain many rewards. I think the arena champion is the normal arena fight against the slaver and the gremlin knob, I think. I think the captive hero is new. Let's try. You enter the massive stadium to find an overflowing audience of slavers, cultists and other denizens of the city. The next one is mine! You boom into the crowd, who replies with a deafening applause. It does not take long for the slavers to drag in their latest catch. The unwitting challenger awakens, groggy from the ambush, but readies themselves. This should be fun. Oh! It's the defect. With the Act 1 relics. Act 2 health, but he has taken 100 damage already. That's pretty stylish. Nice, we got our 1 strength. So we know now what the Act 3 boss is. So with Silent being here, that will be Ironclad, huh? Curl up. Definitely floating orbs. Yeah, okay, we only got our defense from the Guardian Gear this turn, and we gained 12 defense just from that. That's actually really good, yes. And with the Orb Slams, that's only gonna get to a higher amount. Our bottom card in the deck is Bauble Beam. That's a shame. Start with Prismatic, so we gain the shifts. Yeah, this is definitely the Act 1 version, as I've seen them in last run, and got wrecked by this defect. do we recover if we recover? I think we don't recover. I think we go maximum damage here. Gain all that sweet, sweet strength from the shuriken. Yeah, this deck feels very strong. Gambling chip. At the start of each combat, discard any number of cards and draw that many cards. Meat on the bone. If your HP is at or below 50% at the end of combat, heal 12 HP and 100 souls. I will take another emerald. I think we now have enough stasis stuff that we don't need to pick a suspension. There's our next merchant. We don't need curl up and... yeah, we'll draw one attack in these 3 cards, right? Prismatic barrier is actually quite useful to have later again because of how these shifts add to our strength. Bauble beam, very happy to see it. Fully block, deal 15 damage with the spikes, and then let's see how much damage we can do for the rest of the fight. I think it is worth recovering. The bauble beam won't come back in time. Actually, not much will come back in time. Maybe we get to accelerate once next turn. So we could get the Twin Slam, perhaps. Yeah. And we do, in fact, manage to get back the Twin Slam. That was a decent chunk of damage. No! I forgot that this draws a card. That actually makes the Sentry Beam very powerful. That it also draws you a card. Refractor Beam, Temporal Strike, Shield Spike, Ancient Attack. Is Ancient Attack some... we are building our strength in other ways. Repulsor, exhaust the first status or curse drawn each turn. That would be good for Niao. Yeah, I can see that. They do add a lot of curses into our deck. There's also Madness, reduce the cost of a random card in your hand to 0 this combat. Doesn't seem that appealing in our deck. Study the Spire. Add a random colorless boss card to your hand at the start of your next 3 turns. It costs 0 until played. Okay, that seems quite powerful. Pair, 10 max HP, no. Lizard Tail, when you would die, heal to 50% of your max HP instead, works once. And Bottled Black Hole. Upon pickup, choose a card. Start each combat with this card in Stasis. Ooh, that could have interesting interactions with some things. We could do it with a Sentry Beam. Repulsor was my saving grace, that one Stasis engine run I had. Yeah, I can see Repulsor being very useful. Honestly, the black hole on the Sentry Beam does look quite tempting. Bauble Beam? But that would take us 3 turns to get to it. Like, aren't we just faster on average by drawing it normally? No, perhaps. Well, right now, yes. Makes it a 0 cost card. Okay. But does it need to be 0 cost? Because it generates 3 energy for us. I think I'll stick with my initial idea of Sentry Beam. I think I'm also gonna pick up a Repulsor and then remove a Strike. We don't have... We didn't pick up a whole lot of defensive cards, so let's remove Strikes over defense for now. We do have the Guardian Gear, but that will eventually run out in boss fights. Bauble Beam Recover. That's 4, 3, 2... Yeah, I just want to replace the strike, and we get a strike back. Let's recover the Bauble Beam. That was a good first turn. Not perfect, we are still taking 11 damage, but we almost killed the backliner here. And we will now in fact do so. Let's reroute a Twin Slam. Finish this with an Orb Slam and then... yeah. The Guardian Gear has us defended. Okay, I do now see why the Guardian Gear is very powerful. This is nice against the wounds. We could have killed this turn, but we kill with the spikes instead. Lantern, start each combat with an additional energy. Bronze armor, gain 1 artifact, enter defensive mode, exhaust. No. Walker Claw, charge up. No, I don't think we want that. I think this is a skip. What gems do we have? We have an emerald. Just put that in Twin Slam again. Nope, it goes into Incinerate. I think that is more likely to be a card we play early in our turn. Sentry Beam Plus deals 2 more damage, but places a Sentry Wave Plus into Stasis, which applies weak to all enemies. That's a really powerful upgrade. And we will always have that on turn 2. Thanks to our Bottled Black Hole. Warpaint, upon pickup upgrade 2 random skills. Or we could take the gem here, the key. Let's take the Sapphire key. I'm not too sad about losing a Warpaint. Can't break it right now because we don't have enough gold, but we will be able to soon. Let's make room for another gem in a prismatic barrier. We're up against the Book of Stabbing. Incinerate is nice. We don't need that much defense. I think the Recover I will keep though. Strike for the extra strength. And floating orbs, and finally recover, so we are fully defended, and put the Incinerate into Stasis. Let's apply weak and draw. Do we reroute the prismatic barrier perhaps? I think that's good, yes. And then I would like to play Twin Slam, but honestly 2 Orb Slams are just as good. Let's curl up, then Sentry Beam, Warble Beam, Shift, Incinerate, Barrier, Shift. But basically a shift build. Nunchaku. Every time you play 10 attacks, gain an energy. This is so good for our build. 4 block at the end of each turn while in defensive mode. Incinerate Guardian Whirl. Must be in defensive mode. Exit defensive mode. Deal 4 damage 4 times to all enemies. We are in defensive mode at the start, but I don't think we want to exit it on purpose and end it early. I think that seems like a bad choice. Shift deck with 2 after images right from the start. I like that. Sapphire for 10 max HP or the Emerald for 1 dex. It's gotta be the dex. Upgrade a floating orb, so we will always have one at the start. Yeah, it's good to have an innate one, I think. We have almost no money. We do need to kill the merchant eventually, but we probably don't have enough power yet. So, you know what? Let's skip this merchant for now. Snacko. Good start. We are now confused. No, we are not. We had artifact. No. No, we don't. Confusion. Whenever you draw a card, randomize its cost. This is between 0 and 3. Let's Bauble Beam. Can we even... Yeah, we can pick up all the crystal shifts. Let's recover the beam. I also kinda wanna incinerate. That was lethal? This character is wild. Block potion or was B potion? Probably not. Clone? Shield charge or temporal strike? I feel like this is a skip. Let's go for the question mark. Clone is... Oh, clone the Bauble Beam. Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense. Curl up. Bauble. There are certain order optimizations we could do here to work with malleable a bit better, but who cares? We're just gonna overpower them anyway. Yeah, the Nunchaku is really quite good here. Ruby, gain a momentary strength. We are playing so many attacks a turn that might actually be good. Do we have another slot in Prismatic Barrier? Gaining a momentary strength and 2 crystal shifts at the same time seems like a good idea. In front of you sits an altar to a forgotten god. Atop the altar sits an ornate female statue with its arms outstretched. She calls out to you demanding sacrifice. We don't have 50 souls, so the top option is locked, but we can sacrifice 20 HP to gain 5 max HP. Yeah, because we do have the meat on the bone. That's okay. Hi Zero, no, I do not have all the unlocks. This is only my second run with the Guardian, and the first run we died on Act 1 boss. We don't need Repulsor. Let's go with Prismatic Barrier. Recover the barrier. Great orbs and strike. Start with Ruby. It's enough to kill, and then let's Orb Slam the Chosen. Let's go. Call up. Reroute the Bauble Beam, then play Sentry Wave. Mostly the order. I chose this order mostly because Incinerate, so we can reduce the Bauble Beam. Not like it matters because this enemy is very dead. Stasis Strike is also tempting with the Socket, but I think we just take more Fragmented Gems. We are Shift deck after all. Well, at least we have double floating orbs at the start. It's gonna be good for future turns. Shift versus Poison, who will win? Oh! Suirun! Suirun? Thank you so much for gifting a sub to Arctic Mists. Arctic Mists, welcome to the channel and enjoy your emotes in chat. Hi Silly, glad to see you. Hi Suiron, by the way, as well. Glad to see you too. We just have little here, huh? Ooh, Sapphire, enter defensive mode. That might actually be useful after we left the Guardian Gear effect. We could put in a Twin Slam. I like it. Aquamarine is also not bad, but I think I really want another way to enter defensive mode, and this seems like a very good way. Bauble Beam, Incinerate. Ah, too bad we don't have... Well, we do have the Sentry Beam in Stasis at least. Start with Bauble Beam. This enemy is attacking for quite a bit in the first turn, but we are pretty good at defending on our first turn as well. On our first 5 turns, in fact. Let's draw. Need a curl up. Do we reroute the recover? Yes. Yes. Yeah, I can see that. Sapphire does seem quite awesome. Especially if you put it on an aggressive card and then suddenly you get to be defensive on that turn as well. Infinite Blades. So yeah, you are shift deck. Weak this turn. I will gladly stack onto that. What are we playing this turn? Recover on Twin Slam, I guess? There's this finisher that's a bit scary, but no, that's not that much damage even. Twin Slam, Prismatic Barrier and Strike is probably what we spend our energy on. So let's start with Strike, then Prismatic. So we double shift to gain the strength before we start playing our multi-attacks. And we finish up with a recover. Actually, Prismatic Barrier is just better than Twin Slam, right? Oh, you thought we were up against Act 3 boss right now. Nope. Because we fought the Defect as another boss. They took so much damage to our spikes this turn. I need space in hand. Sentry Beam, and then we do have enough space in hand. Shift, shift, shift. Well, it seems like I had the stronger shift deck here. Who would have thought? Stasis Shield again. This one also gains a socket, yes. Revenge Protocol, we are not leaving defensive mode very often. Spheric Shield, for 2 turns block is not removed at the start of your turn, gain 15 block, enter defensive mode, exhaust. We do generate a little bit of extra block quite often, so that would work decently. It's also quite expensive though, but we are not that bad with energy. We have the Nunchaku, we have the Lantern. We will be able to pick up another boss relic. I think Spheric Shield might be worth it. Yeah, it seems reasonable. Speed Potion. I don't think we need the explosive at all, so speed should be better than that. Runic Pyramid, Calling Bell, and Coffee Dripper. I'm fine with taking Coffee Dripper, we have the meat on the bone. I don't think we really need Runic Pyramid. And I think Coffee Dripper should on average beat out the Calling Bell. We do have the blue candle at least, so we only need to play out the curse once per fight, but let's go with Coffee Dripper. We should be pretty well set against Giant Head and Rectomancer, I think. Nemesis might be a bit more annoying, but we should still beat them, so we can... I was like, we can safely go elite hunting, but... well... there's only one elite on this floor. We still need to break the blue key. Sapphire key, and finish off the merchant. I want to try and fight them here, so if something goes wrong I can fight them again later. Rest sites are still good, right? What do we need to upgrade? Repulsor would be nice, Ferric Shield perhaps, Recover would be nice. The upgrades are not that crucial, but still we have a few things we want to upgrade still. Break the Sapphire for max HP. Let's socket this Sapphire into Twin Slam. The Ruby into Prismatic Barrier, and finally the Fragmented Gem into Curl Up. Can we open any more slots for gems? We can't. So we might be done with gems here. Unless we find a really good one and then maybe we pick up another soccer card. Yeah, let's make this 3 turns of Blur. That seems good. We don't need Curl Up. We have Bauble Beam this turn, so we have a lot of energy. Let's gain the momentary strength first, before we start shanking some enemies here. I probably should have played the reroute first, because now there's nothing good to reroute anymore. I don't think you can reroute the exhaust cards. Oh, we might as well try. Imagine Calipers, man. Yeah, Calipers would be kind of great one day. Let us Sentry Beam incinerate the backliner. Sentry Wave for weak on everyone. Yeah, we are fully defended if we kill that target. Probably should have played the orbs, but this fight is over pretty soon, so... Maybe not quite this soon though. Let's get back and incinerate. There's one power that when stack breaks this character. Okay. Stasis Sunshine. I think I've seen that one before. Is that the... Whenever you play a bunch of 0 cost cards, you gain an energy and draw a card or something like that? I like the colorless potion here. Roll attack, prismatic barrier, suspension. I think it's too late to pick up another prismatic barrier. We probably won't get to upgrade and fill all the slots, so... Ah, yeah, every 3 0 cost cards you play gives you an energy and a card draw. Yeah, that does sound quite powerful, especially with all these fragmented gems and aquamarine, was it? That's 0 defense. No, a 0 cost defend card. Let's upgrade the recover now. I don't think we need the second Orb Slam innate. Floating orb. As you slowly make your way up the twisting pathways, you find yourself in the infamous shifting hallways of the Beyond. A lesser being would go mad trying to navigate these, but to you they are as familiar as an old friend. The constant whispering voices ease your mind as you decide which path to take. Explore an event, search a treasury for a relic, hunt down the merchant. We don't need to hunt down the merchant, we're already on path to them, so let's search for a relic. Centennial Puzzle. The first time you lose HP each combat, draw 3 cards. That seems pretty useful. Let's upgrade the Repulsor just in preparation of Meow later on. And then let's fight and hopefully finish up the merchant. Ooh. We can reroute the Bauble Beam so we get to play it again later this fight. Set up these floating orbs, incinerate for a sentry beam. That was a good first turn, I'm not gonna lie. I am pretty happy with how that first turn went. Fully defended, broke the armor. Crystal shifts, then yeah, we get our souls back and 300 on top of it, so we got a pretty good merchant here hopefully. We don't need Apotheosis, we have already our whole deck upgraded, almost. Exhaust up to 3 cards in your hand, no. Prismatic Beam is too late, I don't really expect us to find enough gems for it, I don't want another reroute. You can no longer become frail. I don't think that's anything that can happen to us during this upcoming boss fight at the very least. Clockwork Souvenir. Start each fight with 1 artifact. That's basically, we can basically make that a Vajra or at least Smooth Stone, granting us either 1 strength or 1 dex, depending on whether we play Twin Slam or Prismatic Barrier first. And it can obviously also help us against some debuffs from bosses. That's not bad. I think I'm gonna go Clockwork and then remove a Defend and move on. Let's go to the left here. Mummified Hand. Whenever you play a power card, a random card in your hand costs 0 this turn. Great with our floating orbs. Jutting from the chaotic terrain around you, a bony sphere surrounds a mysterious glowing object within. While you're curious what lies inside, you notice some sentries keeping an eye on it. Let's fight them. Yeah, we kinda need draw, I agree. I just haven't seen anything like that. Repulsor could be useful here. Spheric Shield, and then we recover the Bauble Beam. Yeah, we have a lot of energy. Let's curl up. What do we want to reroute here, if anything? A strike, I guess? And we are fully defended. And should be able to kill at least the frontliner this turn. Let's gain a momentary strength, consuming our artifact. Sentry wave. We incinerate the backliner actually. I think Bauble Bean is about the least amount of damage we can find to use on the frontliner. And we win. Incense Burner. Every 6 turns, gain 1 intangible. Intangible reduces all damage taken and HP loss to 1. Another Incinerate wouldn't be terrible. Could kind of act as draw. I'll take it. It also gives us the chance to pick up another gem if we see a good one. Boss! A cheery, disheveled fellow approaches you gleefully. You know this man well. It's me, Ranwid. You wouldn't believe what I've swindled from the cursed heroes. Do you have any more junk I can give them? You appreciate his friendliness and consider your options. Surely you have something Ranwid can use in his next deal. I don't want to lose the lanterns for 3 potions, especially if our potion slots are full. I definitely don't want to lose the nunchaku. And I don't think I want to lose the Centennial puzzle for a rare card. Nope. Then let's fight another elite. Ooh, it's the head. I think this is probably one of our best fights. Let's go Incinerate, Sentry Beam, Strike, Twin Slam, and then finish it off with a Barrack Shield so we can build up some defense, which we probably won't need. Reroute the Recover. I think that makes sense. On Incinerate. If he asks for a fruit relic, or literally any spent relic like a Omamori or something like that, yeah, that would be pretty nice. Let's play Floating Orbs, Repulsor. Let's gain the strength and then I think I want more Incinerates. Yeah, I think that's also a good thing, that there are some events you don't really benefit from. That means it's not always correct to go for events. There we go. White Beast statues. Statue potion always appear in combat rewards. Okay. Temporal Shield. Gain 7 block, draw a card if you have a card in Stasis. Does that go up to 2 cards? It does. That's some card draw. But we can only upgrade it in the next act. All this energy with no ice cream. I think I want to go to the shop later, if at all. Let's curl up. Incinerate. Sentry and Bauble Beam. These and A multi-beam. Oh, with ice cream. Yeah, that will be good. I can see that. Prismatic barrier. Let's finish you off with a shift. Then we want to deal our largest hits against the spiker. Not that we are really threatened by those spikes, but this is a gem that draws a card. We take it. Now I am kinda glad I picked up an extra incinerate. Put multi-beam into a stasis and have a prismatic beam. Okay. Then yeah, that does sound like a nice interaction. Spheric shield, that means this fight will be very easy. Let's get the repulsor out of our deck for this fight. And just build up as much strength as we can to make the... and block as well, to make the future turns a bit easier on us. Yeah, I'm done optimizing here. I'll just get this guy to 0 strength and then move on. Quartz. There we go. Weak potion. That's not too bad, but no, we do have enough weak, I think. Another incinerate, but this one isn't upgraded. Not interested. Not interested in any of these. Do we go for the shop? Yeah, probably. Just seeing some more relics and cards can help. Prismatic barrier. This card has really grown on me this run. Should have gained the strength first, but it doesn't look like it will matter at all, even in the slightest. There we go. Block potion? I don't think we can take another fragmented gem. We only have one socket, and that's where we put the quartz. And at this point I think it's too late to find new sockets. Or beam perhaps, but not really. The garnet is actually quite tempting, honestly. Vulnerable. Not that good. Nope, I don't want to skip the merchant. I was a bit confused because I didn't see any merchant here. Onyx, gem, gain an artifact, lose 2 HP. Ooh. Okay, I'm looking at this chrono boost. Boss Time Eater. Gain 2 strength for every 12th card you play. We play a lot of cards. That's gonna be great scaling. Also Polybeam. Frozen Eye. When viewing your draw pile, the cards are now shown in order. That seems quite good, but also very annoying. The Boot. When you would deal 4 or less unblocked attack damage, increase it to 5. And the Eternal Feather. For every 5 cards in your deck, heal 3 HP whenever you enter a rest site. Oh, there's another floating orbs as well. Yeah, let's get all the orbs. Let's also get Chrono Boost. And I think it's time to remove another strike. Super good and super unfun. Yeah, I can imagine, yes. Sure. Ops. We reroute the Incinerate. Let's draw. Sentry Wave for another draw. Temporal Shield for another draw. Play the Floating Orbs, then the Repulsor to trigger our Mummified Hand. We have more draw. And let's put an Incinerate into Stasis. I like Incinerate a lot. It's Chrono Boost actually. Did I just... No, that was planned. I knew we had an Nunchaku come up, alright. That sounds plausible. I think we just have to kill this turn. Yep, that works out. Regen Potion, we don't need that. We don't take damage. Aquamarine I would take. Can we take a Floating Orb? A 4th one? Sure we can. Remove all enemy orbs. I don't think we need that many of them. But this opening hand seems very solid. They do start with the Shadow Orb. They have Anchor, Burp-Faced Urn, Inserter. Additional Relic, 2 additional relics, Symbiotic Virus and Fusion Hammer. I'm just gonna play one of these. Or even 2. I can't see us needing those. And they do stop me from getting additional Orb Slams. Let's start with Chrono Boost, Floating Orbs, and then go from there. Twin Slam. Temporal Shields as well. Start with a sentry wave. Let's recover and incinerate. We can trigger Nunchaku this turn. Incoming damage 13, 16, 19, 22. Yeah, that should be worth it. Quartz, Sentry Beam. Let's play the curl up as well. Final floating orbs. You know what? That's a lot of orbs. And you are playing a barrage. Have fun with your barrage for 0. These orb slams are now 30 damage each, so we win. Feel something evil at your very core. You give 994 souls back to the heart. The heart squirms in elation, pounding forevermore. You ask yourself, have you truly done enough? The heart pulses louder and louder as your consciousness begins to fade. A sudden burst of energy emanates from inside you, jolting you awake. The heart retreats, sensing an approaching threat. The fight is not over yet. And onwards to the fourth fight. Yeah, this was basically an orbs versus orbs build. Just my orbs were slamming into their face while their orbs were sitting around looking pretty. It honestly was not a fair fight. Orbs and chrono boost. Let's just set up some powers on turn 1. Start with chrono boost so we can immediately benefit from it. And now we get a ton of orb slams every turn. Baubles. This deck is pretty ridiculous. Curl up. We should be able to play a spheric shield here if we want to. And I mean, why not? Quartz. Sentry beam. Just make space in hand so we can draw. Oh, actually it only draws one still. We haven't upgraded it yet. But that will happen shortly. Pendip, every 10th attack you play deals double damage. I'm not gonna micromanage that, but it's nice to have. Deal 13 damage, gain 13 block for 2. I think this is just a skip. If I still had a chance to find a gem for that and socket it, maybe. Nothing really. Maybe the polybeam, but honestly that's just not necessary. Finally we get our quartz into the incinerate and we get the upgrade on temporal shield. Chrono boost is also tempting, but I really want the extra draw from temporal shield. That's why I took it in the first place. And I'm fine with Chrono Boost being a bit slower. We have other sources of generating strength as well. This is a fine opening hand, I think. I wanna have more setup though. Didn't get any. Oh, we have an artifact. We should definitely drink the speed potion. Especially before we play the Incinerate. Let's put the Incinerate into Stasis. I wish there was the one with the quartz in it. Oh, Haunted. Ethereal unplayable when drawn, add Ethereal to all cards in hand. Start with Chrono Boost. Making the Temporal Stasis cost 0. Sentry Wave to draw another card. Aged. Unplayable Ethereal at the end of your turn, add a Void status to the top of your draw pile. We're not gonna keep that in hand. But I wanna free up some space in my hand for the Centennial Puzzle before I play it. Be Wild Out. When you play another card, muddle your hand and discard this. Nope. We miss out on a floating orbs. But that's not ethereal, so it's fine. The defend is ethereal, I don't care. That's actually kind of good even. Haunted can be game ending if it hits the wrong card. I can imagine. That can be really tough. Start with Sentry Beam. We don't have enough space. We should play the Repulsor though. Then Bauble. Crystal Shifts. I missed the pen nib, right? Incinerate. Sentry Wave. Barrier. Finish off with the Spheric Shield. We do now have the pen nib active for the next turn, which we should use for a giant hit. 30 times 2, that seems like the sort of giant hit I was talking about. Let's Incinerate. We need to be careful not to kill Niao at the wrong time. I don't want Orb Slams in my deck, but I will have some inevitably. Because now we can no longer play attacks. Watcher from the first act is being summoned. Let's get the momentary strength. We don't have enough space for that. Let's play an Orb Slime first. One Crystal Shift, the next one will be Pen Nipped. Let's play an Orb Slam with that. Let's Incinerate to draw a card. 1 health. I mean, with that much strength, difference between 1 health and 30 health becomes to blur. It starts to blur. Bauble Beam? Yeah, sure. 186 block casually. But our blur effect has ended. Let's start with Incinerate and Sentry Wave. That's Orb Slam into Twin Slam. Oh, I'm gonna discard so many Orb Slams again. Whoops. And our 203 block is gone, sadly. I'm just gonna start with these Orb Slams. No point in micromanaging these any longer. We by now have just pure ridiculous amounts of damage. Yeah, it's already dead. Nothing here matters. This deck is way too powerful. No! We got draw capped because of all these corrupt cores. But it doesn't matter because just the Orb Slams were enough to kill the defect anyways. Slam those orbs. Okay. This deck feels like easily like one of the most powerful decks I've played in all of Slay the Spire ever. Yeah, GG indeed. Nice. It's a lot of score. Combo, play 20 cards in a single turn. Beyond perfect. Defeat 3 bosses without taking damage. Heartbreaker, defeat the heart. Well, defeat Niao in this case. Okay, we have unlocked Terra Beam. 2 cost, place this card into Stasis. Tick, deal 10 damage to a random enemy. So it's basically 30 damage randomly split over 3 turns to random enemies. That doesn't sound too exciting. I hope its upgrade is good. But it's obviously quite good if you can get it into Stasis without playing it. Then it will be nice. Orborg. Gain 2 strength. Tick, gain 1 strength. Volatile. So if you put it in Stasis, you gain 3 strength over the over 3 turns, and with the normal play you gain just 2 strength. I think I've seen the upgrade of this one. It loses volatile, so if you put it in Stasis you gain 3 strength and then you get to play it for 0 cost to gain another 2. That makes it pretty good. Fierce Bash. Deal 20 damage. Place this into Stasis. Tick, increase this card's damage by 3. Okay. But it will take 4 turns to come out back of Stasis. But the second use will already deal 32 damage. You really want a lot of Accelerate if you are using Fierce Bash, I would assume. But with a lot of Accelerate, that seems like a very strong card. You have slain everyone. The cycle has died, and so shall I. Sleep well, Niao.